Will Hurricane Dorian have an impact on the Lowcountry? I sit down with Live 5 News Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Quintin, good to see you, my friend. Always great to see you. We're inside, so we don't have the hat. He's got a beautiful hat. We love the hat. But how you doing, buddy? You looking great?
Great, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know you're busy.
I'm busy. Yeah, we're watching Dorian, of course, here at the Storm Center. We're watching all of what's going on with that and the forecast and everything that goes with it.
What are you watching right now?
Right now, we're watching the modeling. So a lot of the models are starting to come a little better together. It looks like it's going to come up and then kind of stall near the coast of Florida. Will it cross the coast? We don't know yet. Right now, I mean, we're looking for maybe a landfall. One model has a landfall toward maybe Cape Canaveral. The new Euro, I was just looking at a second ago, that keeps it just along the Florida coast. So there's a lot of things at play, a lot of forces on the storm. We'll have to just continue to watch. Bottom line is to always be ready with a plan. And we will definitely probably see moderate to heavy rain, particularly after Labor Day, and some flooding rains possible, and very high tides all this weekend and into Labor Day.
Into Labor Day. What scenario do you want for the Lowcountry?
I would like the scenario where it goes way out to sea, and then I go on vacation. No, but that scenario going out to sea is not out of the question. I mean, it might just stay to our right. It will depend upon the ridge strength and this upper trough that's going to continue to push through the Great Lakes area. So, again, it's a timing thing. The best scenario, though, for us is to kick it way off to the east.
Obviously, Dorian's in the Pacific. Well, not in the Pacific, in the Atlantic right now.
Atlantic, yeah.
What else is in that atmosphere?
Right now, where we've got Dorian's, another wave actually came off the coast of Africa not too long ago. So we're watching that. Elsewhere, that's about it in the Atlantic right now. But, you know, it's that time of the year. Tropical season runs through the end of November, but the climactic peak is the 10th of September.
And obviously, Hurricane Hugo, 30th anniversary is coming up.
Can you believe 30 years? Wow, I had black hair back then. My hair was so much darker. And you know why it's gray? Because of Bill Sharp. Because I have to be next to him all the time. No, it's I can't believe 30 years. Yeah, and I was a little young buck with very dark hair, and it was Charlie, of course, was the Dean of Weather at the time, the man, and Rob, myself, were just kind of moved to the area. So we were the three people watching that, as well as a few of the other folks, and it's been an amazing journey since then. But that time was very intense. It was the worst hurricane to strike the U.S. in years. Back then, I mean, they hadn't one back in '89. They hadn't had a major strike in years. So yeah.
And how do you put up Dorian against Hugo?
So every storm is different, right? So this one could be a Cat 4. Hugo was a Cat 4. 135 mile an hour winds, 935 on the pressure. This storm will be rivaling that. Maybe at some point, some of the modeling takes it to Cat 4 status, although there might be a little wind shear if the storm slows down a little bit over near the Bahamas on a slow turn. It could upwell a little water. I say this would be it looks to be a Cat 3, possibly Cat 4 at its most intense.
Let me drop weather for just a second. Let me talk to you about your book.
Oh, my book? Oh, yeah. Well, this is I write just for fun on the side. So I have a new novel out. It's called Uncle Danny. It's based on 3 real characters that were bootleggers in the 20s. They were literally gangsters of the 20s, and they were bootleggers up in New England and New York. They would bring it down from Canada, the illegal liquor. Remember, liquor was not legal. They bring it in big ships. They were the first ones to start flying it in old tri-motor airplanes. And so these 3 people were part of what was called the Big Seven, which was a big syndicate of bootleggers in the Northeast. And my great uncle was one of them. And he was one of the key members of that. And so this book is based on 3 real people and on stories that evolved around that. It is a novel. So we built a story around some of the true stories, but it is a novel of fiction, and it is set back in the late 20s. And it's a pretty fascinating look at a snapshot of what it was like to be a bootlegger back then and what they went through.
Oh my. Obviously, you celebrated 30 years here on Lowcountry Television. What particular title would you have for a book to describe your weather career?
Ancient. No, I don't know. I mean, I came here 1986.
Yes,
so
sir.
When I came to Charleston in fact, last week was 33 years that I moved here, and when I look at that, I'm like, I came here for like an 18-month contract. I didn't know if I'd be here for 5 minutes. 10 minutes, you never know about whether the audience accepts you or not. So I guess I'm still here, so I guess it's okay. So, I mean, so far, so good, knock on wood, right?
Right, but seriously, why do people trust you when it comes to the weather here in the Lowcountry?
Oh, I think all of the weather. I'll preface that by saying all the meteorologists in Charleston on Channel 4, 5, 2, everybody's fantastic. They do great jobs. Some of us have been around longer, so we have a little more experience. So sometimes that tends to add certainly some credibility. But the experience level, I think, is important because we've been through many storms. Hugo, Floyd, of course, back in '99, and we can go right through the list. Matthew, Irma. So maybe it's just the experience and the gray hair. It's the gray hair, right? I tell you, that's what it is.
And when I was walking back from outside into the lobby here with you, obviously we talked about Debbie Chard.
Yeah.
And she retired, obviously, after 40 years at Channel 5.
Yeah, we miss Debbie. She's although she comes by, she's not a stranger. She comes by. She's going to be part of our Hugo special coming up in around the 21st of September. So she's doing really great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Now, if we could just get rid of Sharp, he'll be here until he's 110. Yeah, it's incredible. The studio is named after him.
That is true. That's exactly right. And lastly, tips for people who are getting ready for this particular hurricane.
So it's important to have a plan. Just even if a storm doesn't come our way, always have that hurricane plan. And as we tape this right now, it's good to make sure that you have your hurricane plan dusted off. You have full tank of gas. You've got your prescriptions. You know what you're going to do with your pets. If you had to evacuate, where would you go?
Right.
The timing on that. Also, if you have a place, a house that's in a flood zone, remember that might need to be, move out of there, especially if it's along the coast with the tides that we've been having. So really having that plan together is really important.
Very important. Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh, thank you for your time on Quintin's Close-Ups.
I love it, Quintin. Thank you so much. I'm going to borrow that hat. I can cover up the gray.
I'll give it to you.
All right.
I'll be your Christmas gift.
There you go.